The new Kenya Constitution brings in a very different dimension from what was there before. This Constitution brings in the devolved government units. Now, the Constitution also brings in the element of performance monitoring by the politicians that are normally elected based on their campaign platforms. One of the significant provisions in the Constitution is that if a politician doesn't meet the performance that he had indicated to his constituents, then the constituents have got a right to call him back. Call him back in the sense that he's not meeting the demands or the pledges that he made to them, and therefore he can be called back and he loses his political seat. And if the governments are able to address the citizens, then obviously the livelihood of the citizens will increase. We've already started seeing this happening through the various transformational projects that are being taken in the country.
And Nigeria is open for business. You find these in all the sectors of the economy. Either you're talking about IT, whether you're talking about banking, financial services, even SMEs. Nigeria is open for business, and government at all levels are actively, looking for investment, both from foreign investors as well as domestic investors. And they're putting everything together to make the process a lot simpler than it has been, such that, for example, if you want to register a company today, there's a one-stop shop where you're supposed to be able to do that in 24 hours.
I'm sure you've just seen this the competitiveness survey coming out around about Africa and South Africa particularly recently, and it was very pleasing again that we have such a well-developed financial sector and reporting coming out of that, where the strength of accounting, of auditing and reporting standards are the first, number one out of 144 countries out of the Global Competitiveness Survey. Regulation of stock exchanges, first in the world out of 144 countries. Protection of minority interests, second in the world. Efficiency of corporate boards, third in the world. And so on. It goes on. Soundness of banks, sixth in the world. I think these are very, very positive messages for South Africa, because this is where it is. But you then have the other extreme of where things are going wrong, and where areas that need a lot of focus, and that is particularly a lot of it focuses around our labor regulations, where out of 144, we kind of 144. CEOs in Africa are focusing on the next big thing, which is innovation, technology, urbanization, and the positiveness coming out of demographics and getting the demographic dividend going. They're clearly saying that they need the right people at the right time to develop and execute on their strategies to manage growth and grow. And also, they're willing to invest in more public-private partnerships, build the trust between governments and themselves. And to the extent, I suppose, that we can get these elements right and working, I think companies have, in Africa, have every chance of succeeding and being confident about the growth that we have.